Hello everybody, Mr. Dandy Oldsman coming at you once again. And as I promised in my pilot episode of my new video series, today I'm going to be discussing a subject that's really hit home for me in my life, and that is of alcoholism. And I guess you can tie drug abuse in as well, since alcohol is technically a drug. So, I'd like to start out by saying the reason why it's affected me is because it took away one of the most important people in what should be everybody's life, and that was one of my parents, which was my father. My father started drinking probably back in the 70s when he was a teenager. And through the years, it just got progressively worse. He also smoked, so he drank and smoked from the 70s up until he died in 2004. So that's a good span of 30 years or more. Ever since I could remember, when I was a child, my dad had problems with alcohol. At one time, he was almost up to a case a day. My mom was a hard-working lady, hard-working woman. When I was little, she had 2 jobs. She worked at a store, and then she went to a farm she worked at. So she worked 2 jobs. My dad had 1 job. He worked at a turkey farm, and he worked hard. Yeah, he did his job, but as the years went along and the alcoholism got worse, he tended not to want to work so much, because the alcoholism more or less became his life, which is very sad and very unfortunate, because when he wasn't drunk, he was such a smart, inquisitive guy. He just knew so much. He could tell you anything from back when he grew up in the 60s and 70s. He could tell you the assassination of the President Kennedy, how everything played out and who was involved and what happened and where he was that day. And, he was a great guy when he wasn't drinking. I mean, not saying he wasn't a great guy when he was drinking, but when he was just disoriented. He wasn't the man I knew my dad to be, and that hurt. It really hurts seeing somebody that way. You feel ashamed to be around them, and I loved my dad and I cared about him, and it was just so hard for me growing up to understand why Daddy had to be that way, why Daddy had to treat me that way, why Daddy got into fights with Mommy. It's not the kind of life a child should have to live. And I know he didn't know any better, because it is a disease. It is classified as a disease. My dad really didn't think he was hurting anybody with what he was doing. But to realize the hurt it caused, you have to see it firsthand. I really believe that. It's hard for me to go out and say, you shouldn't be drinking because, you can die from it, or it can do this to you, or it can do that to you. People may laugh and think, well, who are you to tell me? Well, once you see firsthand what it can cause, it sticks in the back of your mind. It really does. It's just one thing I never forgot. Every time I go to a bar room, I go to see my one friend's band from high school play at the bars. And my friends will say to me, some of them, how can you go to a bar and not drink nothing for 3-4 hours? Well, that is where, that the experience comes in. Because I'm afraid that I might have the same gene as my dad had, that if I drink 1 beer, what's not to say that I'll have 2, 3, 5, 10. It's unpredictable, and it's not something that I want to get involved in, because I don't want to follow the same path my dad did. I mean, he was a good guy. It's unfortunate because toward the end he just sort of lost it. He got real sick. He had a hard time going to work. And there was a point where it questioned, was his family more important or was the alcohol? And it's unfortunate because it seems the alcohol has won. But it's not a lifestyle that I'd want to, whenever I have kids, if I have kids, that I want to put them through. Because nobody should have to go through that. It's just, I mean, I remember fights. The one time I remember a fight where wooden table chairs like this behind me were actually flying across the room. As funny as it may sound, it wasn't funny at the time. But when my mom and dad got into a battle one time about money, because my dad would use money my mom put away for bills and such to buy booze, when he would do that, it would always cause an argument. My mom would say, oh, this money was for that, and my dad, would take the money and buy beer with it, and it just caused an argument because, that was my dad's excuse to relax and this, that, the other. So that was something I always remember too. Big battles, big fights in the house. I was calling my Grammy, my dad's mom, crying, trying to figure out what to do, asking her why mommy and daddy were fighting. And it was just such a heartache. It was so sad, It's not something somebody should have to grow up with. And drug abuse is the same way. It causes the same thing. People, their life is run by it. Is run by the addiction. And it's horrible. It really is. It's devastating. And I'm here to tell you that firsthand, alcohol, drugs, even cigarettes will not solve your problems in life. They won't. It's just a fact. It's not going to solve anything. So please, 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 if you have a problem, or if you are just overwhelmed from life, stressed out from work, whatever, please go and talk to somebody. Talk to a family member, talk to a friend, talk to even a therapist if you have to. Just don't use alcohol and drugs. I lost my computer again. Don't use alcohol and drugs. Don't use them as a way to cope with problems because it's not going to help anything. It's only going to cause more problems. And I'm telling you that straight from my heart because I don't want to see other people go down the same road my dad unfortunately did. He's been dead over 10 years already. I have a stepdad, but it ain't the same thing, God forbid he's a great guy. He don't drink, he don't smoke, he's a good guy. He takes care of me and my mom, tries his best. He's a good guy, God bless him. But he's not my dad. And it hurts. I have pictures like this I look at. Me and my dad. My first day of kindergarten. And it hurts. It hurts. It makes me cry, actually, that my dad's not here to call and say, hey Dad, what are you doing? Or, hey Dad, you want to go see a movie? Or, hey Dad, you want to go to a car show? Or, it hurts. It's painful. And people may not understand it, but when you've been there, you know what it's like. And I just don't want anybody to go down that same road. Or any children to have to suffer like that. It still happens, I know, but I think if we get the word out and we talk about it, it may not happen as often. Of course, you're probably, unfortunately, never going to get rid of it all. Just like anything else. You're not going to get rid of it all, like bullying. But we can try and cut down on it. And the more we cut down, the less people have to experience such trauma. Because it is mental trauma. It's something you'll never forget. It'll always be with you. There's still a piece of my heart that's missing when my dad died. And it just never came back. It never will come back. And it hurts. It really does. It hurts. It's painful. So please, please, if you have a problem, talk to somebody. Even if you come on here and message me and talk to me, I'll talk to you. I don't mind. Just don't go down that path. Don't use that stuff as a coping agent, because it will not help. If anything, it'll put you more into the shit, shall I say, than it will anything else. So please, please, remember, we want to see pictures like that and be able to have discussions with the people in the pictures, and to have those people hear you. You know, we don't want to use this as a way to remember somebody. I mean, yeah, we use pictures for memories, of course we do. But we don't want to use that as an only way to remember somebody, because their life was cut short because of such a disease or such an addiction. So please, like I said, talk to somebody. If you have a problem, talk to somebody. Get help. Don't let it run your life into the gutter, because that's what it'll do. It'll run your life into the gutter. You'll lose your job. You'll lose your family. You'll lose your friends. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. So, that's my rant on alcoholism and drug abuse. There's not much else I can say. It's unfortunate. If there's any questions or anything you'd like to ask me about it, comments below, you know, put them down there. I'll respond if I can. And if there's anything that you got out of this video that you want me to discuss further, let me know, and I'm be happy to do it. So, thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of it. Like I said, it's something that's really bothered me over the years, and it's never will go away till probably I die, when I'm not on this earth anymore, and probably even then it'll still follow me. But yep, keep it cool, keep it clean, stay away from the drugs and alcohol. I mean, yeah, leisurely drinking bad every so often with your friends or whatever, but don't let it consume your life. Thank you for watching. I'll probably be posting another video sometime soon, maybe tomorrow, something soon, when I think of another good subject that I could talk about. Until then, Mr. Dan the Olds Man is out of here. Goodbye, everybody.